Y'all ready to go swimming, baby? Come on. Give it up. Get out of that water. I tried telling y'all, it's swim lessons, baby.
Dude, T, you're here, buddy.
Finally, we're here.
It's been too long.
It has. It's a long time coming.
Well, back when we were talking about doing this, I was in Arizona. That's how long it's been.
Yeah, for sure.
But our lives have changed dramatically since that time when we talked about it. We both ended up coaching our high school team, and we kind of got to live out a dream that I never thought we would do. Did you?
No, not at all.
Not
it
a
was
million.
awesome,
Yeah, it was.
I'm glad it happened.
When I was assistant last year and then got the head job this year, you were the first person I thought about. And then when, it came out that I got the head job, I called you, and what'd you say? I
said, yeah, right away. I'm in, kind of, I can't say no to that.
Right.
Like, coaching with my best friend, gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
So.
And it was a good time.
It was awesome. I was a little skeptical right away, the whole coaching thing, since I've never done it before.
Right.
But, yeah, I'm really glad I did. I had so much fun this winter. It was awesome.
It's one of those things where you come into it and you think you know what to expect and you're like, okay, this is what's going to happen. But I mean, this year, just for instance, we had no idea what we were going to be like, how good we were going to be. There were certain parts that were going to come in, and it was wild, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was crazy. It really kind of brought back my love for the game of basketball. It was, the adrenaline got going. I mean, I never expected it to be like it was, but so much fun. Yeah.
And it was wild too, because how close, I mean, my dad was like, what was your favorite part about the season this past year? And I was like, oh, without a doubt, it was the practices. Yeah. Because the practices, you just one-on-one with these kids, to start the practice, we had all the music going. And
yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think especially with, you get on the tunes there and get the boys fired up, and it's just the vibes that you get from that. And yeah, it was fun. Practices were a good time.
That was the best.
They knew when we could, have our laughs and stuff, but at the same time, they knew when it was time to get to work.
Right.
So.
And they knew it was time to practice, get warm up, get the body going, catch a rhythm, and then boom, once the music stops, all right, we're going to go through some team stuff. And what was it like for you to coach your first JV game on the same seat that Jake Duvetter sat on, that Barry Hagan sat on, that your dad, Kevin Thomte, who coached at Divide County, sat on? That must have been kind of a trip for you.
It was really. I mean, obviously that was our first game of the year. Mm-hmm. We were playing against a varsity team, Alexander's team. So, I mean, I went into it not really knowing what to expect. But, I mean, you even commented after the game, you're like, I've never seen you that excited, getting into it. I mean, my heart was just racing. You were, getting in my ear about some stuff, hey, you should take a time out here. Hey, you should do that. And I'm just like, Dallas, just let me do this,
Yeah, it was awesome.
But no, it was great. And then coaching against Trey Jacobson too, a kid that used to beat us every time we played him. But it was fun. Got to talk with him a little bit before the game and catch up on the old times. But yeah, it was fun, dude. It was great.
Well, I remember the first time when I was assistant, I sat in that chair and I'm just like, this is like a full 360, because it's even all these years down the road since we haven't played, to sit in that same spot and watch the game from that spot. It's kind of trippy.
Yeah. It's definitely different from just sitting up in the stands, you're with all the boys all week long, and then game day, getting them hyped in the locker room, and it's just crazy. You got front row seats, your best seats in the house coaching, and your heart gets going. It's great, dude. I haven't really felt that since we played.
No, me neither. And you want to talk about former players? How about all the guys that reached out to us this year, like Jared Vadesock, Helen Grubb, Casey Knox, all the guys that we played against high school that were like, hey, it's good to see you guys repping Maroon and Reagan and getting the team back to where it should be.
Yeah, that was really cool to see.
Yeah.
Not even just people we played against, but just people in the community too. It was nice, getting those texts like, hey, the boys are looking good. Like, you guys are doing a great job. And I mean, the work pays off. It feels good to hear that. But
Yeah, it's nice to hear back from those guys that they still kind of pay attention to athletics.
Like people that you watched and you looked up to too.
Just like talking to Hunter Berg before after our first regional game against Trinity, and to talk to him to kind of recognize Divide County Athletics, that it is, or like the basketball team is, and gets its first win in 10 years was big. And it was just interesting to hear. It was crazy.
Yeah, especially hearing from a guy like Hunter Berg, North Dakota Class B legend, like
arguably the best.
Yeah, well, GOAT for sure.
GOAT. Who is the best? Do you put him against Boshi? Is Boshi better than Hunter Berg?
Boshi's Class A too, though. A little different, but he also went and started for Kansas for 4 years. That's pretty impressive. Final Four. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
people forget the Qualley brother. Both of the Qualley brothers were good.
Yeah.
But Brian is still playing overseas, I'm pretty sure.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, Brian. Because he's the one that played at Montana, right?
Yep, played at Montana. Yep. I think he played for the Rockets for a while too, or was on their roster.
Something like that, yeah. And then who was that kid from, or not kid, he was older than us, Killdeer. Austin Dufault.
Went to Colorado, yeah.
Yeah.
He had a good career there.
And he was really good.
Yeah.
And I think he's coaching for the Pistons, or like assistant.
Okay.
Something like that.
I see there, is it Hurlburt from Enderlin's going to Colorado?
Is he?
Yeah, he was a senior this year.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember how tall he is, but he can hit the three, kind of does everything. But
talking about good players, I mean, so just so everybody listening, Trevor and I, when we were coaching this past winter, we got to go down to Washburn and do a kind of a shootout thing there. We played 2 games in 2 weekends, and then we stayed in Bismarck. And when we were in Bismarck, Coach Wilhelm gave us his gym to do a shoot around with Saturday morning. And there's a guy that plays for Bismarck High called Trey Inglestaff.
Mr. Basketball.
He was just awarded Mr. Basketball. And we got into the gym. What time was it? 9:30, 10?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Right around then. And first guy we see, Inglestaff, just shooting around with the gun, repetition. And then I'm like, see that, boys? That's what it takes. And I felt that was kind of good for them to see that.
Yeah, you could tell they were kind of like almost like starstruck when they seen him, too. Is like, oh, it's probably going to be Mr. Basketball this year. But he was a nice guy too. Took a picture with Stockton.
Yeah, little Stockton.
Yeah, our 8th grader.
He and this is even after a loss.
Yeah.
They had lost to Minot the night before by 13.
In that week stretch, I think they beat the number 1 team in Century and then ended up getting their blowers blown off by Minot. And
he'll be interesting to see how he does, because he's going to play the point guard position for UND.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what Willie was saying. And the way that Willie was talking too is he could probably play right away. Like, I don't know if he had to do a redshirt year or not. I mean, he's big, long, can score. He's pretty aggressive. It'll just be interesting to see. But anyways, yeah. So going back to coaching, Trev, when we were kind of in that, let's go back to the beginning of the year, and we're figuring out our team. We're trying to see kind of what we have. Okay, we know we got a nice player in Wyatt. We've got a strong point guard. We know we've got a scorer in Max. Lane is just coming off an injury year. He's our only senior, Lane Carabello. And then all of a sudden, this kid named Leighton Kreklow comes out and has one of the best starts to, any recent history that you can think of for a power forward, wouldn't you say?
Yes, he had a great year. He had those games where he could just kind of take over when he wanted to, getting all the boards and scoring, and I'm really excited to see what he can do next year for us too.
Me too. Okay, and then we were having these open gyms prior to the season. We see this 8th grader that's been coming to open gyms, Stockton Nelson. This 8th grader keeps making play after play after play. And I remember looking at you and being like, okay, we've got to dress him. He's got to at least practice. He's got to have something to do with this team. And so he comes to practice, again, makes play after play after play. And finally it's like, okay, he's going to have to be in the varsity rotation. Yeah. And that was surreal.
No, it's crazy to see an 8th grader being able to play, able to start, right, and keep up with everyone. He's going to have a great, great future at Divide County. I'm excited to see what we got with him for the next 4 years.
And he's not done growing either.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
No, he can do a little bit of everything.
Right. And his shot kept getting better and better and quicker.
It did. And he was more confident in his shot too. He kind of looks to pass first a lot of times, but when you're the underclassman, that's kind of expected.
Oh, 100%.
No, he'll get the confidence in his shot, and it's going to be really fun to watch the next few years.
And then the other piece that we had to look at was Rylan Fennell, who hadn't played any varsity freshman, sophomore. He played JV last year, and then he kind of comes into this role of the fifth, sixth man, 3-point guy who towards the end of the year I felt came leaps and bounds of what he started with.
Yes, another kid that started playing with confidence, especially around tournament time. I think biggest thing for him, if he can knock down his first shot or make some kind of play right away, it really helps his confidence, and it's fun to watch when he's playing with confidence.
Well, he's one of those kids like I was talking about with you and a couple other people. He always he's like, hey, can we go to the gym? Him and Max, can we go to the gym? Can we go to the gym? And it's good to see. It means you got some kids with heart there for sure. Yeah,
and then you said he put in a lot of time with you last summer too, and he wants to get better at his craft, and it's very good to hear that and see that.
So. So now let's fast forward to right about when we were just talking about when we went to Bismarck, took that Bismarck road trip, and we played Mott Regent, and we beat a good Mott Regent team, and then we played a decent Washburn team, and we beat them.
Yeah, beat them on their home court. I mean, they had a good crowd that night, and no, that was a fun experience that weekend, getting out of town for a little boys weekend with the team. And
that was the funnest. That was the best.
Watching them screwing around in the water slides and
that Friday night after the game when we were sitting down there eating pizza and stuff.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you just hear this wave of people just coming. They're like, oh my God, and there's all of our kids plus a bunch of girls.
Yeah, there's 20 kids all coming down the slide at one time, and
it was wild.
But it kind of brought you back. We remember, it seems like yesterday we were doing that same stuff, and
it made a guy feel good.
Yeah, like, okay. But it was fun. It was fun sitting with the parents, kind of relaxing and BSing a little bit, and the boys were having a blast. It was good team camaraderie, good for morale.
I had so much pizza that weekend.
Yeah. That's kind of every weekend for me. Need to cut down on that.
Okay, so we get 2 wins there, and then let's fast forward to when we go play Trinity Christian.
Yep.
So we're going to Trinity Christian. Trinity Christian is a decent team.
Yep.
We knew they'd be tough in the other district. And what happens when we go to Trinity Christian, Trev?
Well, we'll start with the JV game.
Shout out Titus Stubbs.
Unforgettable JV game. Yeah, shout out Titus. Battled hard. The JV game kind of set the tone. It was an entertaining game the whole way through, and ended up getting a last-second shot from Titus Stubbs to win. And
didn't he get 2 shots on that?
He did. He got it. Ended up with him. He shot it, missed it, and somehow we got an offensive board, got right back to him, and I think it bounced on the rim 2 or 3 times before it went in. And and that was one of my favorite experiences here as a coach is, last second game winning shot from a kid that probably deserved more minutes this year on the JV team. But no, it was really fun. It was good to see him. I'm sure it made his whole year.
Dude, and he's one of those kids that works so hard.
Yeah, you never have to tell him to put forth more effort. He works hard.
Just this little freshman, first time playing JV guy, and he hits this shot.
And his improvement throughout the whole year too. That was another thing from a coach's perspective that you really like to see. Yeah. You see the progress, and
for sure. Yeah. Titus.
Yeah.
And then so the Trinity's varsity, just so everybody's listening that might not know, they have these 2 really tall kids who are pretty, I'd say, good players.
Oh, very good. Yes. That was
the Grenland kids.
That was a good team. Jacob's got a good thing going with that program.
And I remember watching Lane Carabello that game and during the varsity game and watching him play and how well he played. And I was like, okay, we're going to be okay.
That's really when he started coming into his senior leader role and started hitting the big shots when we needed him. And
he was I was like, because he handled the Grinland and Thomas kid pretty decently.
Yeah.
He had a bunch of blocks, rebounded just about everything. And I was like, wow. And he was stepping outside, shooting shots outside, but yet he was still playing inside.
He was hot from beyond the 3 that night, and he had a little swagger too.
Yeah, he did. I was like, yes.
Like 2 or 3 in a row, and he's holding his form walking down the court. And
I like that.
You like seeing that though. You got to have that attitude as a team when especially when things are going your way. Keep that momentum going.
That was also when I almost lost it on, because remember the buzzer The shot clock kept going off randomly.
The whole game, they kept having issues with that shot clock, and you hear the buzzer go off when you're playing. It's everybody kind of stops. And it's just kind of chaos.
And we had, well, we won't go into who was reffing, but he's one of our favorites.
Yeah.
So anyways, we go past that. Now let's fast forward to when we've got all this momentum. It's kind of towards the back end of the season. And we're playing Powers Lake.
Yep.
And it's a big district game because we had just played Kenmare pretty tough, but we'd lost. And then we got to go into Powers Lake. We got to play them. And Trevor, take it away. What happens then?
Well, if you don't remember clearly, that's the game I was in Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Coach
I had to miss out on a couple games.
But in your defense, you had that planned way before.
Yeah, I mean, when we booked it and paid for it, it was before I even knew I was going to be coaching. So,
well, anyways, everybody.
But yes, it was tough to be away from the team at that time.
And you still watched it in Mexico.
Yeah, I streamed it. I think Powers Lake has YouTube for their broadcasting or whatever, so I was able to watch it. And I seen Layton go down, and it was tough. They still fought hard the whole game, though. I mean,
and I know
undefeated at home. I mean, that's tough to take down a team like that.
And at the time, Powers Lake was number 3 in the state, and Lane was sick.
Yep.
Lane Carabello, our lone
going without our 2 bigs. That's tough.
And Layton twists his ankle, third possession of the game, and Layton's having this monumental season, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, oh my god, and Layton's not doing well with his ankle, and to kind of rally the troops, and the kids never gave up. Max and Wyatt had tremendous games. Ryland stepped up, Hunter, Nelson, Stockton, all those kids stepped up. So then after that, when we were kind of building towards districts, we kind of knew that Layton wasn't going to be able to play.
Yep.
But I just remember, we had those meetings before district tournament and we were talking about how, we had talked to Wyatt. We said, Wyatt, we need you to play your role. We need you to do this. And we talked to Max. Max, we need you to score, kind of especially score down the stretch. And then we talked to Lane, and, we're kind of like, Lane, we'll go where you go. If you want to play hard and you want to rebound and you want to be the best guy in the region, we have a chance to be one of the best teams in the region. Yeah. And that's what happened.
Yep. And that really, I think, brought out the best in Lane too. He knew that it was his time, that he needed to start taking over, and he really showed that out, especially in the tournaments. So.
I said this to him one of the last times I talked to him at our closing meeting, but I was like, dude, I don't know if I've ever seen a player from Divide have that big of a stretch. 3-4 games in a row like he did.
I mean, just clutch shot after clutch shot. I mean, that 3 that he hit against Trenton in our last game of the year, the 3rd place game, we might have even been down. I think they were on like a 7-0 run. They had some momentum going, and Lane just pulls up from like 2 feet behind the line and holds it backpedaling. And he knew it was in, and that's fun to see.
Well, what a thing for him to go out on. We had a 10-year curse of drought of not being to the second round of regionals.
Yeah.
And him to break that alone, the only senior, obviously had a bunch of great teammates.
Yep.
And to break, that's got to be a hell of a feeling to go out with.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, I mean, that's, like you said, 10-year drought. I mean, that's a pretty big thing to overcome. And
the last time they made it was when Homer was a senior.
Yeah.
And Homer's one of our best friends.
Shout out Homer.
Shout out Andres.
Divide County GOAT.
The GOAT. He is the GOAT. He can still dunk.
Oh yeah. He's in great shape. He works out all the time still, and yeah, not me.
I know you and I went the opposite direction.
That's all right though.
Sorry, you were saying, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I can't even remember.
But that was the funny thing about, so just so everybody knows, so we go district tournament, we're the 5 seed going into districts.
Yep.
We're playing the 4 seed against, which I thought was the most underrated team in our region, the Tioga Pirates.
For sure. That was a huge game.
I remember telling you, like, we got to win this game.
Yeah.
Because if we don't win this game, we play the loser of Kenmare and Stanley. Yeah. And those are 2 really good teams.
Yes. 2 teams that we had lost to within the last couple of weeks.
And it's like, if we beat Tioga, we can beat Powers Lake.
Yeah. Yep. I was looking forward to that matchup.
Me too. I was really wanting to play them. And then I'm like, who knows what will happen from then on, but I'm like, we gotta win Tioga. So the kids came out, and I thought they played really well against Tioga.
Hot start right away. I mean, the
way Wyatt Carabello, our one guard, controlled the rhythm of the game so great.
Yeah. Wyatt's a guy you can count on every game to be.
You give him the keys to the car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's a very fun kid to coach.
And then Max hit a few really, really, really big shots, especially from the 3-point line. Because it seemed like every time Togo would get it within 4 or 5, Max would hit a shot.
That's when Max or Wyatt would come through with a big play.
Yep.
And that was...
Like a few times that out of bounds corner 3, we would try to get that to Max.
Crosby.
It'll be different next year for coaches listening. And then he'd get it in the corner, and then he'd drive down, and he'd just pull up, and it would tickle the twine. It was not even touching the rim.
I like that. Most of the time, anytime I would suggest an out of bounds play for you, I would always say Crosby because I wanted Max to be able to get a 3-point attempt. But yeah, like you said, we're going to have to change the name on that one.
I know. Well, I know a lot of my friends from Arizona and all around will listen, but like Max Duvetter, and we've talked about this, how he's the best shooter since Justin Howland.
Oh, sweet stroke. I mean, you watch him in warm-ups and the ball barely touches the rim most times. It's just, he's a net burner. He's he's a tremendous shooter, fun to watch.
Well, I think it's pretty surreal too that you and I get to coach a kid that was just like our good friend, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. It's fun to watch someone who can just shoot that pure of a shot. As a basketball fan, that's really fun to watch.
And he's got love for the game.
Yeah.
A lot like Justin did.
A lot of heart, a lot of passion, willing to put in the extra work, shooting all the time. I mean,
first one in, last one out.
Yeah.
That's
great.
what I think about when I think of Max Duvetter.
Never complains. No. I don't think we ever even had to get after him for anything ever.
No. No, we didn't. I got after him pretty bad that Stanley game.
Oh, the last game.
But he responded so well for that.
He did. Yeah.
So anyways, so we played Tioga first round, and it's a really good game, back forth. Finally, we end up beating them by, what was it, 6-7?
Yeah, something like that.
So anyways, then we play the next night against Powers Lake. And I remember going to the locker room, and our guy, and I have no shame saying this, but my favorite player of all time is Peyton Hanish. And when P-Man, my guy, shout out P-Man. P. Hanish. Anyways, when he come up to me in the locker room before, he's like, Coach, it's different in there. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, we're going to beat these boys. I'm like, all right, let's go. And so I remember walking into the locker room, kind of like what we did before the game when we talked to them, and it was kind of the same, but when they came out, warmed up, and then we went back in to talk at like the 6, and I remember walking there and you could just feel it. Like it was different.
Oh yeah.
Things were different.
They were hungry.
Like Wyatt was just staring at the wall. Like Lane, who he shows emotion, but not that much. And he was like, you could tell Lane wanted to go. Max was ready to go. And I was just like, okay, we're going to be fine here. And minus, just so everybody keeps up with the story, we're doing all this without Layton, who was all district regular season. So one of our better players, better scorers, not playing at all. So we come out in the game, and it was one of the better games in recent memory. Oh, yeah. I mean, it was probably one of our best performances of the year going against that tough Powers Lake team. They were, top 5 in the state. And we had the lead most of the game, a couple turnovers, and, they had a couple good rolls, and lose on a last second shot. It's tough, knowing that they were the top dog and we were the underdogs there. And I know
we that one definitely left a sour taste in the boys' mouth, I feel like.
Well, even for this upcoming year, I mean, that's one that's circled right off the bat.
I mean, yeah,
and it was always kind of a rivalry, but it's like this new ignited
for sure. Well, rivalry. I mean, they've been pretty dominant, the last few years, and Jordan's done a nice job with that program, and
Carlson's done a great job.
But I definitely look at the team that we'll have, especially coming in next year. I think we'll be right there.
Oh yeah.
And if you could pick one game that the boys want to win, it's going to be Powers Lake. So looking forward to it.
We had the lead the whole game except for the last 3 seconds when Fraunfelder hit that one.
Yep. That was tough.
So that was tough. So anyways, we lose that game. So Powers Lake and Stanley end up playing the championship. We play Ray for the 4th place.
Yeah, play-in game.
Yeah, playing game. Yep. So we end up beating Ray.
Which was a close game.
That was a tough game.
That was a tough game. And we knew Ray was going to give us our best shot.
Shout out Coach Bergstrom.
There's no love lost there with Ray in Divide County.
And Ray had the District Player of the Year in Jace Nelson. Yep. He's a fantastic player. And he ended up getting Region Player of the Year. So, he's good. So they had a scorer there. And like we were saying, and I remember getting interviewed by the radio before the game, and Randy Peterson, shout out Randy Peterson. He's the man.
Radio
dude.
goat.
I love Randy. He's the best.
Oh, yeah.
anyways, he goes, Coach Hansen, it's tough to beat a team 3 times in a row, but how are you going to beat these Ray Jays 3 times in a row? I'm like, shit. But I remember thinking, like, man, he's kind of right. And but so that was part of
it was going to be a dog fight.
It's going to be a dog fight, a damn dog
Always
fight.
Always is.
And so I was glad that the boys came out and showed no mercy isn't the right word, but they were ready to go.
Yeah,
they were like, they wanted that region
berth. It was back to business, can only think about that Powers Lake loss for so long. And it's
because
on to the next game.
Me and you watch a lot of pro sports. It's tough sometimes when a team plays so high and loses a game like that for them to turn around and play a game in a day later or 2 days later, it's tough.
Yeah.
Especially high school kids.
Yeah. Especially, playing a top team in the state. I mean, that loss, it hurt. And rightfully so. I mean, especially a last second shot. But, what do? You got to get back to work, keep grinding.
And we did. And so, we beat Ray. And then we went, that was one of the coolest feelings.
Yeah.
Because we knew, as a coaches, we wanted to make it to regionals. And then it's finally like, okay, now we're 3 wins away.
Yeah.
Now we're 3 wins away from making it to state. Now we've got a shot.
Yeah.
Now, like, the goal has always been in sight, but now it's getting really close.
Yeah. I think especially after districts, our confidence was sky high. We knew we could compete with anyone, and I mean, we were looking for that state tournament run, and
we kind of became this team who kind of found their own identity at the right time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like we said earlier, you had guys like Stockton and Ryland really stepping it up and really everyone playing with confidence. And
well, especially in that Ray game, Ryland hit a couple big threes.
Oh yeah. I think he had 15 points. He was our high point man that night, I believe.
Ryland really upset me though during that Powers Lake game when we had a last second shot. And he just turned and looked and he chucked it. And then at practice, he goes, "Hey coach, watch this!" And he's shooting from the opposite free throw line, like a full court, 3/4 court. He drills it, and
throwing it or shooting it.
I don't remember. I think he shot it.
Okay.
But
I wish he would have shot.
I wish he would have shot it too. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. He's like, no, I'm really good at these. I should have done it like this against Powers. Like, drills another one. I'm like, go get dressed.
Yeah.
Go get dressed.
Yeah,
But Ryland's one of our favorites too. But anyways, so now we're in the regionals. And we're the 4 seed. And so we have to play the 1 seed. Trinity Christian Crusaders.
Yep.
Who are on this hot streak of a lifetime.
District 15
champions. Like we talked about. Yeah, we had beat them in the regular season, but they were a totally different team, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, they were a lot like us. They definitely improved a lot later on in the year, and then, like you said, got hot at the right time and ended up winning that whole district.
Okay, so then we're the 4. We got to play them. They're the 1. And we're playing at the Williston The well, which
love
you and I
place.
have a lot of memories in.
Of course, yes, love that place.
That is one of my favorite gyms of all time.
It's a shooter's gym. Nice soft rims. Oh, it's the best.
So we come out, guns blazing. We take the lead early against Williston Trinity. Boom, right out of the gates.
Yep.
And it was awesome. Lane's playing well. Wyatt had missed. I don't know why on that one side Wyatt kept missing layups.
Yeah, I don't know.
Remember the north side?
I think he kept seeing the ice cream machine up on the top level and losing his focus.
His girlfriend sitting up on top of the ice cream machine.
Yeah.
So, but Max was shooting the ball well, and now we had the opportunity to bring back Layton.
Yep.
And we decided to sit him out that game though, and so we made it pretty close. How much did we end up winning by though?
I think the final we ended up by a 7 maybe. But I mean, every time
it was close.
We would get a 9-10 point lead, but then they would hit a couple threes and they're right back in it. And I mean, we just couldn't pull away. They kept fighting. And like I said, it was a very talented team that we beat. It was a big win for us.
And then that's what we were referring to earlier when we ended this 10-year streak.
Yeah.
So now we're only 2 games away from state, which we talked about. But we knew going into this next one playing Stanley that they were one of the premier teams.
Yeah. You knew they were going to be giving you a good game.
Yeah.
They got a lot of athletes on the court. I mean, they do everything well. They can shoot the 3 ball well, which is, you got to go out and defend that, which opens it up for their bigs down low. And
they got a lot of depth.
Yeah. I mean, they'll have a good program for another few years here too. I mean, their JV team was really well, and a lot of those guys don't even dress varsity. So
right.
So
we end up losing. We get down. It's the 3rd quarter. And we're down by 15, I think. And we called a timeout. we kind of jumped on the boys like, hey, we got to go. Like, this is for our season. It's time. Let's start getting after it here a little bit more.
Kept everything positive.
Let's keep it positive. Let's just take it possession at a time, but let's keep doing this lead. And then I remember looking up at the clock, and there's 3:30 left in the fourth, and we're only down by 5.
Yeah.
Like, that's all that they did.
Yep. Had a great run. Got some caused some turnovers, made some big shots, and we were right there. And then they just kind of went on another late spurt, and
then
that's all she wrote.
So then Stanley goes on to play in the championship, and they beat Powers Lake, and Stanley went to state. And then we end up playing Trenton, who's a nice team.
Yep.
And
very good team.
They had beat us earlier in the year by 8?
Something like that. Yeah.
7 or 8.
Home.
At home. They beat us at home. And then we come in and play them in the 3rd and 4th. And in the 3rd and 4th place game, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. It's you're not moving on. It's kind of a whatever exhibition game, but I wanted to win that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I wanted
you got
to
go out with a dub, and I mean, 3rd place is better than 4th place. I mean, you might as well get the best way you can.
As a coach, last year coaching JV and this year coach, I'd never beaten Lucas Psycho.
Yeah.
And Lucas Psycho was one of those players when he played for
District 16 legend.
He is a shooter. Like, he was really good, and
it's fun to watch.
Now he's their assistant for Trenton, so to be able to beat him, is nice. And it was also nice because, like we talked about, Lane went out.
Had a great game.
Amazing game.
Hit probably one of the biggest shots of his career too with that big 3.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I would tell this to Lane's face, so I don't feel bad saying this, but I was like, bad shot, good shot.
Yeah, that's one
good
of those
shots.
Right when he pulled the trigger, it's like, well, uh-oh, and then swish. It's like, okay, well, I guess that was not a bad shot then.
And then so we end up getting 3rd in the region, and I thought that was really good.
It was, yeah. It was good year for us.
Is it what we wanted? No, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Eventually.
I think boys are probably already looking forward to next year too. I mean, unfinished business. So
I mean, we're gonna do some camps and stuff and all that jazz, but this past year, dude, I don't know how to explain it. It was I was thinking about this earlier when I knew you and I were gonna do this podcast, and I was like, I changed as a person this past year.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's because you go on these coaching trips and you're in charge of like 20 something kids and you got to make sure they get home safe, but I don't know. Did you feel that way?
Yeah. I mean, it's a responsibility. I mean, especially when you're on road trips and stuff like that, like you're responsible for them. Kids can be if they want to screw around or whatever. Sometimes they make it tough, and a lot of them look up to us too. I mean, we gotta make sure we're on our P's and Q's, and those guys are looking up to us. We got to set an example. So
exactly. And I mean, also, you had a lot of changes here. You became a dad, a little higher. Yeah. That's a big deal. How's that feel,
dude? It's like the best feeling ever. I mean, I know that's cliche. Everybody always says that, but no, it's crazy. That little guy keeps me entertained for sure.
And he's the funniest baby of all time.
He is. He's a great baby. We're blessed.
Yeah, he is the best. But no, I was thinking about that earlier, how I thought that I knew I changed. And I don't know if mature is the right way, but I definitely felt like different.
Yeah.
I feel different now.
Yeah. Well, even, just from like a coach's standpoint, I felt like we both got a lot better throughout the year as far as, what to say, what to do in certain situations. And especially from your first year head coach, it's my first year coaching ever. That was a lot of adjusting to do, a lot of, getting used to, but I'm glad I did it. I'm looking forward to
I'm glad
next few years, hopefully, if they hire me back.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
But
actually, I should say that.
Yeah. Maybe no, it was honestly the time of my life. I'm very, very grateful that he asked me, and like I said, it brought the love of the game back for me, and it's just fun being back in the gym, shooting shots, and nothing better than shooting hoops.
No, there isn't. And then, you were able to bring Kyra, your son, to a few games. And to see him, even your stepdaughter, Avon, she came to a few practices, and to see how much fun she was having on the side. And then we got to help out with Mini Maroons and all that extra stuff, which was a lot of fun. But what would you say, if you could think back to this whole past year, was there a specific moment that you really cherish or that you'll always think about when you think about this team?
I don't know if I could narrow it down to just one,
gun to your head though. Gun to your head.
Like, what was the
Well, it's just something like, it could be practice, it could be a game, it could be you talking to a kid after school, anything. Just a moment that you'll think about 10 years from now, be like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Honestly, probably when we were on the way back from going to Bismarck from Washburn after winning our second game there.
That was us.
Beating Washburn on their home court. I mean, they had a good, like I said earlier, a good crowd. And on the way back, we're like, let's go sit in the back with the boys. You know, let's BS and have a little fun. And we had a kid. I'm not gonna. Well, P-Man.
Yeah, Peyton
comes up and he's like, "Bro, seriously, you guys are like our favorite coaches. Like, you know, besides Mr. Brown and Mr. Nelson. Like, this year was so much fun." And just hearing him say that and laughing, hanging out with the boys, that just felt like we were a really tight-knit bunch after that weekend. And
that weekend did help a lot.
It did, yeah. I mean, our whole morale kind of changed after that weekend.
Well, like you said, we kind of all like, you know, we were always close, but like when you go on these road trips with these kids, and all their parents aren't coming, so you're literally in charge of them for the whole weekend. And you know, we had bad weather that weekend too. We ended up spending an extra night.
Miserably cold, and
it was cold, and you know, just for those kids to get 2 big wins, and then for us to just, like you said, go to the water slides together, have pizza together, eat all these meals, and just hang out together.
Team bonding stuff, that's definitely got to have that. Can never have enough team bonding stuff like that.
Well, how about when we were doing room check at 11, and then we're walking in their rooms, and I'm like, well, there's no one in this room, and then we go over to, whose room was it where they had the VR?
I think it was like Dean and Peyton.
Dean and Peyton's room. They've got those.
I'm kind of glad they did, though. That was pretty fun.
That was
to play.
fun. They're like, well, why don't you guys play before we go to bed? I'm like, all right.
I about took out Little Hunter's head playing the boxing one.
Little Hunter. He's going to be a nice player.
Yeah, I seen him today at Dollar General. I was checking out, and I thought I seen his pickup, and then he peeks around the corner. He's like, is that Trev? Like, Little Hunter.
I know. Yeah, I think he's got a lot of potential for just he's going to be a sophomore.
Yeah. It was good to get that first year playing varsity you know, out of him. And
under him.
He'll know what to expect next year.
Yeah, exactly. What do you see? I mean, Lane's going to move on and play at University of Mary, which is going to be great. But what do you think is going to happen with Lane in the future?
With Lane?
Yeah.
I think he's going to be successful at whatever he decides to do. I'm not sure what he is majoring in college when he goes there besides playing football, and maybe he hasn't really picked one yet. But I thought he had mentioned business at a practice when we were talking about it.
I thought he did too.
But I mean, his work ethic, I mean, he's a great kid. He's a smart kid. He'll be very
smart.
Yeah, he's going to be very successful in whatever he does.
I think so too. And like I told him, I was like, you laid the foundation for the rest of this Maroon program that we're going to build up from here on out.
Yep.
And he'll always have that because he was the only senior. Yeah. You know, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, not very often you just have the one lone senior on a team. So he had a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. And
now to fast forward, he's going to play in the DC Classic.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool.
Yep.
So, and that's coming up here. This will be coming out the week of it. So you're got a team in the, just so everybody listening, the DC Classic is an amateur tournament that Trevor and I started for a friend of ours who passed away, Justin Helgland, and we call it the DC Classic to raise scholarship money and just get everybody together. Yeah. It's 12 amateur teams. It's like over the weekend, we get spaghetti feed on Friday. We have an auction sale on Saturday and then live music Saturday nights. But you've been playing it for a few years. It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been playing in it. Well, is this year 8 now?
9.
Year 9.
Yeah.
So I guess this will be my 9th year playing in it.
9-year vet.
Yeah, it's a great time. It's one of my favorite weekends up here. Probably my favorite weekend of the year. Yeah. Just all the people that come back, everyone comes out, and the auction's always a good time. Yeah. You do a hell of a job with that.
That's fun.
No, it's great getting together and for a good cause. I mean, make some good money for a good cause, and it's a great way to remember our friend.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's a good way to put it.
I'm sure he's really proud of us. So
yeah, I'm sure he was good, and I hope that like all these kids that we've been coaching start coming back to the Classic.
Oh, you know for sure, yeah.
Because that would be really cool now. Because now we can not only see former friends, we see former players.
Yeah, which is for sure.
Which is why we kind of do it. But what do you think? Anybody, any last closing comments you got?
This was fun. This was fun. I've never done anything like this before. So
well, I'm glad you did it.
It was great. It was good to reminisce on the season a little bit, and
it's out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. Well, I've just been jittering over here and going back and forth the whole time.
You did good.
It was fun. It was fun.
One of the things I want to talk about though is your wedding too.
All-time weekend.
When we
shout out to my wife Sarah too.
Shout out Sarah, the best, the goat of wives
for sure.
When we were doing my best man speech, and I was sitting by that old lady on the plane because at the time I was living in Phoenix, and I was flying up, and the old lady was like, "Who are you writing about?" And I was telling her, "Oh, it's my best friend Trevor. It's his wedding, blah blah blah." And I was kind of struggling to write it. She's like, "Well, just write about something that's important to you and that happened to you when you were kids." And the only thing I could think about is when we found your dad's nudie mags.
Monumental moment of our childhood.
So when I was saying that speech, I remember your dad, I would be like,
oh dude, his face was purple. You could tell if he was like a turtle wanting to get into his shell and get the hell out of there.
That was the best. And then he finally stood. He's like, everybody's gonna think I'm a damn pervert.
No, that was great. But I was. No, that was an awesome weekend. Everybody getting together, all the boys.
Yeah.
Oh, family. It was great.
And you had it in a great spot in Deadwood.
Oh yeah, beautiful place.
Best. Black Hills are the best.
Yeah, Deadwood is like one of my favorite places in the world. I hope we can get a retirement house there someday. But
I'll be the first guy to visit.
We'll see. If gas prices keep going up, I don't think I'll be able to afford to drive down there.
Thanks, Biden. No, the hell. Oh. So I also want to talk about this. I forgot about, but you're a big Cowboys fan.
Unfortunately, yes.
And they've been making some moves.
They have probably not as many moves as I wanted them. I was really hoping they would have got Zadarius Smith, but
he went to the Vikings.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Yeah, which also makes me unhappy too. Because oh well. But no, there's some positives though. Dak coming back. Hopefully he can stay healthy the whole year, and CD Lamb's got another year under his belt. I think he's only getting better and better, and hopefully we'll see what they can do with the draft. They could use some help on the defensive end still, and they got to replace some offensive linemen that they let go and got traded away too.
Right.
So
there's a lot of holes there.
But it looks
there's
like
only so much pie.
Yeah, there's less pie.
Zeke wants piece pie. Dak gets pie.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper, you get brown pie.
But it looks like the AFC is really stacking up for next year.
Especially the West.
Everyone's going there. I was shocked when Thomte Adams went to the Raiders. You got Rodgers coming back. I thought he was looking forward to another huge year, but
everybody's got to gear up to beat my Chiefs.
I guess so. That's what you got to do. You got to beat
Russell. Oh, your mic's tipping. And then Russell Wilson's going to Denver. Who would have thought that would happen?
Yeah.
If I would have told you halfway through the NFL season last year, Russell Wilson's going to be going to the Broncos, what would you have said?
I wouldn't have believed you. I thought the Broncos might have had their guy in Drew Lock, giving him.
Did he get a fair shot?
I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. He just kind of, the team, I feel like to rally around him. He had good energy, and he wasn't terrible. I've seen worse quarterbacks, but maybe he'll get a fresh start somewhere else. You never know.
You never know. And then I got to ask this just so everybody listening. What's your favorite movie? This is tough for you and I because you and I quote a lot of movie quotes, but what's your favorite? Is it the one right behind that got that picture of the Wedding Crashers? Is that up there?
Yeah, it's up there as far as like comedy movies. Yeah.
Are you thinking Tommy Boy?
Honestly, I think my favorite movie of all time is probably Happy Gilmore.
That is the best.
I feel like every men's night out golfing, I got recite half the movie, and it's just a classic. Adam Sandler's solid gold back in the old days. So.
Is he the best comedian of our time?
I would say so. He's definitely up there.
I think Sandler
those
is.
Movies are, when we were growing up, we lived off that. Him and Farley. And that was the golden era of comedy.
I think he is our modern day, like he's our comedy hero, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. The movies he puts out now are not really the greatest, but no, he definitely was a huge part growing up. He's one of the fun. Those movies are timeless. Every time any of them are on, I might as well watch it for 10 minutes. And I end up watching the whole thing, laughing my ass off.
You know what else is good? Grown Ups.
Oh, Grown Ups was really good.
Grown Ups is a very underrated movie.
Yeah, Kevin James when he's swinging on that rope, dude.
Pretends to break his leg.
Yes, just like smacks the tree. That was great. That I roll every time.
I love on the beginning of the movie, and Adam Sandler's like doing that eulogy for the coach.
For the
He's
coach.
like, and then Kevin James like, no, he's like, and it turns out you couldn't pass the ball as much as you could. And people start laughing. Then Adam Sandler's like, and you need to learn how to pass a Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, dude.
That was the best.
There's so many one-liners in that movie. Yeah,
and Rob Schneider when he's singing,
he's like, like $10 if he cries.
He's a very good actor too.
Schneider?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, he's in like Waterboy. He's in all the old
50
Sandler
First
movies.
Dates.
Yeah. Oh, he's great in that. You kids go down there and find my balls.
No more flippies off the dock. Waffle houses make me super horny. Oh, that's the best. But I mean, if we're gonna now what's your favorite TV show? And it can be a Netflix series too.
Okay. Well,
I think I know where you're going with this. So,
well, currently I'm counting down the days until part 2 of Ozarks comes out.
Yeah.
Sopranos might be my
Number
favorite
1?
show of all time. Breaking Bad. Trailer Park Boys if I want to just laugh.
Well, what about The Dance? Or is that under documentaries?
The Last Dance.
The Last Dance.
Documentary is a little different, but
so
yeah,
we'll separate those.
The Last Dance was phenomenal.
That's
I mean, that was so fun to watch.
Dude, that was...
It almost just gave me goosebumps watching.
Oh my God.
Especially their interviews nowadays and hearing some of those stories. That was crazy.
And Phil Jackson's like my idol.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I love when he was like, and
North
Scottie
Dakota
Pippen,
Goat.
Yeah, and Scottie Pippen is back there berating. What was the name of the guy that they hated? The little short guy.
Oh, I can't remember.
The GM.
Oh, Jerry Krause.
Yeah, he's berating Jerry Krause as he's walking by.
My favorite Phil Jackson moment, besides like the meme where he's like got his hand on his face, my favorite Phil Jackson moment of that was when I can't remember if it was like the All-Star weekend or what, but they all get off the bus and they're on like this fancy resort and they're all going to party and Phil's like, you guys going to check out the pool? Or?
Yeah, I remember that. He's the man.
Yeah. No,
he had an interesting way of coaching.
He did. Yeah.
But he got the most out of all the guys.
Yeah, he really did. I mean, how many championships has he won? I mean,
what is it, 11?
I think so. Something like that.
I think he's won 11.
That's crazy.
I don't know if that'll ever be touched.
And between, the old Bulls team, the Jordan Pippen, Rodman Bulls, and then going to coach Shaq and Kobe, like.
Well, then I get a kick out. Everybody's like, yeah, well, he had Shaq and Kobe and he had Michael and Scotty. Yeah, but you look at these teams today. Yeah. They have Russell Westbrook, LeBron. They can't win.
Yeah.
Even Kevin Durant, Harden, and Kyrie Irving were having trouble.
Yeah.
They had to get rid of Harden.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much coaching it takes anymore in the NBA. Yeah. I mean, it's
different.
Yeah, it really is. It's different. But go
ahead. Sorry.
No. Like Popovich, dude, that guy. Yeah. I think he just recently got like most wins all time or whatever now, coaching wise.
Yeah, he did.
They just celebrated something. So
he looks weird now.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's aged.
And then I want to ask you this too before we end this. So right now we're in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
When this comes out, it'll be the Elite Eight.
Okay. No, it'll be Final Four.
It'll be Final Four.
Yep.
Will Kansas, your Jayhawks, who you're repping tonight, be a Final Four team? Will they be in New Orleans?
I sure hope so. They definitely have the team to do it, to go on a run. Now that they got Remy back, he's healthy. They've looked good these first 2 games of the tournament, but I know they're notorious for losing to teams that they probably shouldn't lose to. But I think this year's got a little different vibe to it, and
yeah,
I think with Iowa losing, I think that really helped out their chances too of making it all the way.
And you've got them in the Calcutta too.
I do, yes. I wasn't sure if I should say that on here or not.
Yeah.
But
no, that's all right.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
It would be a nice little payday if they could make it there for me. But I think they have the team to do it all. I would love to see them match up with Gonzaga or Arizona or one of those teams. But
yeah,
we'll see. You know, it's madness for a reason. Anything can happen.
Exactly.
So
that's why they call it March Madness.
Yeah.
Well, buddy, we've been at this for about 50 minutes now. Just like I tell everybody when we're closing, if there's one thing you could leave the listeners with, one saying that maybe you live your life by, or that something that Grandpa Keith has told you, or your dad, or something that maybe helps somebody out, what would it be?
Just try to do what makes you happy. I mean, as far as what hobbies you do, what you do in your spare time, whatever you're doing, make sure it's something that makes you happy. I mean, I know not everybody wakes up and their alarm clock in the morning is like, oh, I can't wait to go to my job.
Yeah.
But you know, you go put in your time, you make your money, you do that so you can enjoy your life. And I don't know, just try to be happy. There's no sense going through life unhappy for any reason. So
well, that's well put, buddy.
Yeah,
that's well put, dude. Thanks so much for coming on.
No, this was great. Thanks for having me on. Man. I've been waiting. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, but, well, you're my best friend, man. I appreciate everything you've done for me, and can't wait for more years.
Hell yeah, I love you, buddy.
Love you too, brother. That's a wrap. Thanks.
I told you it's gonna be a party.